tonight. Appreciate your attendance, and hopefully it'll be some soul-warming music, even though it's so cold outside. Very, very pleased to have Vincent Chandler and his septet here tonight. Vincent is one of the finest trombone players to ever come out of Detroit, and has a long list of major jazz names that he's played with. We're lucky to have him at U of M now as a graduate assistant, helping out with the jazz program. And he's playing with some current U of M jazz students and former jazz students, and I'll let him introduce them to you later. But it's going to be a really great night. Vincent played here last January with a quartet, and it was a really great show, very exciting, and he sang for us. So I don't know if you're going to do any singing or scatting tonight, but I know his wife's here, and she's going to join him later on with a vocal number, and that'll be great. Just to let you know what's coming up with UMA Jazz next month, which is February. We have a February 15th show, and that's going to be the Andrew Bishop Quartet. Andrew is our saxophone teacher, and often you'll see him here on UMA Jazz as a sideman. This time he's going to be a leader. Now, Andrew I hired February of 2010 for the second show ever of UMA, and it was a fantastic show. I loved it, and the 8 people who were here loved it also. Right? So we've come a long way since then, and I figured since he came in and played for 8 people, I really had to have him back now that audiences are much bigger. But he's a fantastic musician, really one of my favorite in Ann Arbor, and a great composer and great player, and really encourage you to come out for that. That's February 15th. And then in March 21st, Stephen Rush and Jeremy Edwards have a duo. It's going to be a piano-percussion duo. Stephen is on our faculty. He's a very eccentric guy, eccentric composer, very interesting person, and writer and player, and it should be a different night, but one that'll be a lot of fun. And Jeremy, these guys have been playing together for a long time, so that should be fun. That's March 21st. So those are the next 2 UMA Jazz coming up. So please come out. We have a email list over there. If you are not on our email list and want to be on it, please sign up. I promise just 1 email, usually the Sunday before the gig, and that's it. I will not flood your inboxes with anything else but that 1 email letting you know about the gig. So please help me welcome Vincent Chandler and the septet. Enjoy.
very much. That was an original composition called Do As I Say, Not As I Do. Now we would like to do an arrangement of an old standard called Softly as a Morning Sunrise, my personal arrangement. Which at the gig, usually I wait till I've had a few drinks before I do this. But I'm going to start early and do a little scatting on this one. 1, 2, 1, 2. Goes back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, Thank you very much. I had a gig this weekend. I was scatting on it, and y'all probably couldn't tell, but I actually lost about 4 of my octaves. I really have like 6 octave range. Give or take a few notes. I lost about 4 of those, but I did my best. Art reflects life, and one of the saddest realities of life, in some cases, is that we don't get to live forever. And sometimes I think about that, it makes me sad, and I wrote a song called My Last Breath. We're going to play that. But one thing about being a brass musician, a horn player, is that the very thing that sustains my life is how I breathe life into this, and I make music with it. So long after I'm gone, you can hear a record, you're literally hearing the very thing that sustained my life represented on record. So I just thought that was interesting. And I can only think of one other career or one other field that's the same case, and those, glass blowers. Anyway. another, well, an original composition. What you're hearing is original compositions by myself and arrangements of a few standards. Now we're going to conclude. We're going to move on with a song called Bliss. The next two tunes we're going to play, I'm very proud of because they are truly results of my last couple of years in school, learning new compositional and arranging techniques. So these are slightly more involved than the last few tunes you heard. This first one, I call it So What Now because it's inspired by Miles Davis's So What. And sometimes what I do for inspiration is like I may take the first couple of notes of someone else's song and use that as a catalyst or a trampoline for me to jump off of. So in this case, Miles Davis is like, and mine's go, I'm not singing it right, but something like that. So basically the melody is rooted in the bass, and the rhythmic idea of So What is where this tune came from, and it went into another direction. So I'll call it So What Now. And then after that, we're going to play a song that, as my inspiration, I forgot to bring the poem, but I looked online. Actually, that's not really all of that profound to do that, you know. I wish I could say I read some prolific book of poetry, but I just Googled just, you know, relationship poems, and I found this poem called The Child in Him. And I wish I could remember the lyrics, but basically what it's talking about is a relationship going bad, but this is from a woman's perspective. She's holding on to what she's embracing the child in him, the thing that she first loved him for, and that's what's keeping her, helping her endure the challenging moments in the relationship. Okay, so first, So What Now, and then The Child in Him. Thank you. One, two, 3, 4, 1. sitting in. And Bertha. Patrick Booth playing tenor saxophone. I just realized I've only written Aleko's last name, but I've never said it, so I'm going to let him say it.
Aleko Seropoulos.
Seropoulos. Alto saxophone. Ingrid Racine on trumpet and flute. Keaton Royer on keyboard. We have Ben Ralston on bass. And Jesse Kramer on drums. The Child in Him. I would like to invite my wife up to sing an arrangement of Come Sunday. How about it for Kiwana Diamond? there's not as many of our living legends with us anymore. But fortunately, I got a chance to play with Joe Henderson years ago. And this next tune is called I Remember Joe. And it's modeled after a tune he wrote called Inner Urge. And I heard that the meaning, the reason he named the tune Inner Urge is because when he left the Detroit area to go to New York, that's what drove him to continue to work hard to try to get work, because it wasn't, as good as he was, it wasn't immediate for him to be successful and famous in New York, so he had to really work hard at it. So this tune, Inner Urge, was an expression of that intensity and how badly he wanted to be a part of the jazz scene. And so this next tune is called I Remember Joe. the last time I was here, who was here the last time I performed? Okay, well, I told you about one day I got a chance to spend some time with Douglas Ewart, who was president of the AACM. And for some reason, I started complaining about my life and saying I did this, and I wish I could have done that, and I did this when I should have did that, and I wanted to do this, and you know, that whole thing. And I'm driving. We're driving, and I happen to look over at him. He's just looking straight ahead, and he says, "Man, you need to look to the bird." Huh? I said, "What? Look to the bird?" He said, "Yeah, because the bird is always gathering twigs to build a bird's nest. These twigs may be small, sometimes they're large, but eventually he builds this nest." And what he explained to me is that everything that I do in my life will be the summary of who I am as a person. So I shouldn't take anything for granted, no matter how big or small it is. So I want to make sure I remembered it. So basically, this is the best way I can remember it as a musician. It's gather twigs to build a bird's nest, and like you have to gather twigs to build a bird's nest, and like you gather twigs to build a bird's nest. Ingrid Racine, trumpet, flugelhorn. And I'm Vincent Chandler playing trombone. By the way, I'm taking care of one of those things that I might have complained about, which is school. And this is my last semester of a master's degree. So, thank you very much. And if you can remember this date, I'm going to have a recital on March 25th. It's going to be at the School of Music, March 25th. So we're going to conclude our set with 2 songs that are a tribute to my teacher when I was coming up in Detroit. you know, anyway, he saw that I was interested in jazz, and he started giving me free lessons. I certainly couldn't afford to take lessons, barely to afford an instrument. But he took me in and gave me lessons. He was also a professor here at the university named Donald Walden. I don't know if you remember him. And what was cool about it is that it wasn't just like, you know, learning skills and things like that. I actually got like to hang with him. Sometimes we wouldn't talk about music at all. Sometimes he wouldn't even talk to me. I'd just be sitting there. Watching him make phone calls and stuff like that. And it might be a day that he wore his leather pants, and you know, he's just a cool guy. So sometimes just to be able to observe a character is huge, because this music is more than notes and chords. It's life. It's humanity. It's humans. So before he passed away, he went to Europe. He went to Egypt. I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance to ask him why, but only after he passed away that I assumed what it was for. And I know that certainly African Americans of his age that lived through the civil rights movement was so unhappy with the conditions here that they always imagined what it would be like to go back to Africa. And for him, like I said, I didn't get to ask him this, but I just imagined that was something. Maybe he found out that he could be in his last days, and he wanted to make that journey. And I'm sure he would have wanted to see the pyramids. So this next song is called The Pyramids. And then it goes into a song called Walled In. It's a play on his last name, it's Donald Walden. But I remember just visiting him, once he became a professor at the university, he would just be in this little bitty office and waiting on students so he can abuse them, you know. But I just always felt that he shouldn't be in those doors. It was good for the students, but for him, I felt he should have been traveling the world playing. For the way that he played, the world needed to hear that. So I call this tune Walled In. And thank you very much for coming out. I know it's cold, and I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.